Okay, they say revenge doesn't fix anything. But when you've watched someone destroy a piece of your peace, week after week, you start to wonder if maybe justice just needs a little help. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to wait in the dark, watching the same car headlights crawl past my house every Friday night. But when she slammed her truck into my mailbox for the 6th time, laughing as she sped away, I decided it was time to build something she couldn't break. And learn something I never expected about pain, forgiveness, and the strange ways people cry for help. The first time it happened, I thought it was an accident. It was early spring, one of those mornings when the air still bites, but the sunlight tries to promise better days. I walked down my driveway, coffee in hand, half awake. And there it was. My mailbox, torn from its post and lying flat in the ditch, a sad, twisted mess of wood and metal. Envelopes scattered like feathers. I stood there, confused, then angry, then just tired. I picked it up, muttered something about careless drivers, and spent my Saturday afternoon hammering in a new one. By the second week, it wasn't an accident anymore. The same thing. Same morning, same mess. But this time, tire tracks carved deep grooves right through my front ditch. Deliberate, perfect arcs of destruction. Someone had aimed straight for it. My heart pounded as I crouched down, fingers tracing the muddy impressions. I looked up and down the road, but my little corner of Maple Hollow was quiet as ever. The neighbors, kind, retired folks who loved gossip more than gardening, didn't see a thing. By week 3, I was furious. I installed a cheap camera on my porch, half hoping it would catch something. That Friday night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in bed, scrolling through my phone, pretending not to care. But when I checked the footage the next morning, my stomach dropped. There she was. A dark green pickup, dented fender, headlights bright as fury, and behind the wheel, a woman with wild hair and a face twisted in something between rage and joy. She didn't even slow down. Just boom, mailbox gone, then tires screeching off into the night. I felt violated. Not just because of the mailbox, but because it was so personal. My house was far enough from town that you didn't just pass by. Whoever she was coming here on purpose. I replaced the mailbox again, sturdier this time. Cement base, thicker wood, and when it happened again the next Friday, I didn't feel anger. I felt obsession. Who was she? Why me? I spent evenings sitting on my porch steps, a blanket around my shoulders, waiting for the growl of her engine. The camera caught her again and again. Same time, same route, same madness. It became a ritual of sorts. Friday nights weren't for movies or rest anymore. They were for waiting, for seeing how far someone could go just to make another person feel powerless. Then, one night at the diner, I overheard a conversation that froze me. A man mentioned his sister. Poor Sarah, he called her, who'd been spiraling since her son died last winter. She'd been drinking too much, driving too much, angry at the world. My stomach knotted when he mentioned the truck, dark green, busted fender, always heading out toward Maple Hollow Road. It was her. And suddenly, everything changed. My anger dulled into something heavier. I didn't excuse what she did, but now there was a story behind the madness. Pain behind the vandalism. Still, I couldn't let it keep happening, so I rebuilt my mailbox one last time. But this time, I went all in. I welded a steel post into the ground, reinforced with concrete, a box made from thick sheet metal. It wasn't just a mailbox anymore. It was a statement. I didn't do it out of spite, not entirely. I did it because I needed closure. Because I needed to see what would happen when she hit something that didn't break. And so I waited. Friday came, cold and silent. The moonlight spilled over the road like silver. I sat in my truck at the end of my drive, headlights off, heart pounding. The clock hit 11:47, the same minute she always came. And then, in the distance, I saw the glint of her headlights. This time, I didn't plan to stop her. But what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about revenge, about grief, and about what it means to finally stand your ground. The sound came first. That same low, rumbling growl that had haunted me for weeks. My pulse quickened as the headlights crept closer, slicing through the mist that hung over the road like a ghost. I sat perfectly still in my truck, engine off, breath shallow. 11:47 p.m. Right on schedule. The green pickup rolled into view, her high beams flaring across my yard. My steel mailbox stood there at the edge of the road, gleaming faintly in the moonlight, unyielding, waiting. And then she hit it. The impact shattered the stillness like a gunshot. Metal screamed, glass burst, and her truck jolted violently to a stop. My hands clenched the steering wheel, heart hammering as I watched her front end crumple against the immovable mailbox. Steam hissed from her hood. For a moment, I thought she might drive off again, but she didn't. The truck just sat there, idling weakly. I climbed out slowly. My boots crunched against the gravel. Each step felt heavier than the last. When I reached her window, she was slumped over the wheel, hair hiding her face. The smell of alcohol hit me before I even spoke. "Hey," I said softly, knocking once on the glass. "You okay?" No response. I tried the door. It opened with a groan, and the interior light flickered on, illuminating a face that looked hollow. Her eyes were red and glassy, cheeks streaked with tears, and her knuckles were white around the steering wheel. Why won't it break?" she whispered, voice trembling. My throat tightened. "Because I made it so it wouldn't," I said quietly. She turned toward me then, and in her eyes I saw something raw, not hate, but grief. The kind that burns slow, eating everything from the inside out. "I wanted it to stop hurting," she murmured. "Every time I drove past your house, I remembered him. My boy, he used to wait by a mailbox just like that for the school bus every morning." Her voice cracked. "That road? That stretch of road? That's where the accident happened. He was right by the mailbox when—" She didn't finish. She didn't have to. The silence said the rest. My chest ached. All those nights of fury, of cursing her name, of watching her tear through my peace. And she'd just been running from ghosts. I swallowed hard. "You've been punishing yourself," I said softly. "Not me." Her lip quivered. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just couldn't stop driving here. Couldn't stop breaking things." I looked back at the steel mailbox, still standing strong, despite the dented hood pressed against it. It felt symbolic. Unbreakable, yes, but cold too. Just like the walls I'd built around myself since this started. Maybe both of us had needed something to hit, something to stand against when everything else in life had fallen apart. "Come on," I said gently, reaching out a hand. "Let's get you out of here." She hesitated, then slowly took my hand. Her skin was cold, trembling. I helped her out of the truck, guiding her to sit on the grass by the road. She stared at the mailbox, the wreckage, and then buried her face in her hands. "I miss him so much," she sobbed. I knelt beside her, unsure what to say. Words felt useless in moments like that. So I just stayed there, under the dim streetlight, letting the night hold both our grief. A few minutes later, the wail of sirens grew in the distance. Someone must have called it in. Maybe a neighbor, maybe me when I dialed with shaking fingers. The deputies arrived, calm and careful. They knew her by name. One of them sighed, a sad familiarity in his eyes. "Sarah," he said gently. "Let's get you checked out, okay?" She nodded weakly, then turned to me. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. I managed a small, tired smile. "Just get help. That's all I want." As they guided her to the ambulance, I stood there watching the taillights fade. The road went quiet again. Only the crickets and the faint hum of the wind remained. When I finally turned back toward the mailbox, I noticed something strange. A single letter that had survived the chaos, lying in the grass. It was addressed to me, though I hadn't seen it before. No stamp. Just my name, written shakily in blue ink. Curious, I tore it open. Inside was a short, handwritten note. "You don't know me, but I used to drive by your house with my son every morning. He always waved at your mailbox. Said it looked like a robot's head. When I lost him, I couldn't drive past without breaking down. I thought destroying that mailbox might make it stop hurting. It never did. I'm sorry for everything I broke. Especially something that was never mine to break. The words blurred as I read them. I folded the letter and tucked it inside the steel box. A quiet truce. A memory preserved. In the weeks that followed, things changed. The road grew quiet again. No more screeching tires, no more Friday night dread. I rebuilt the mailbox one final time, not of steel but of oak, strong yet soft enough to bend with the wind. I even painted it blue, the color of peace, of second chances. Sometimes, when I check the mail, I catch myself glancing down the road, half expecting to see that green pickup again. I never do. But I like to think Sarah found her way back to herself, just as I found mine. The mailbox still stands there today, a reminder that strength isn't always about what can't be broken. Sometimes, it's about what chooses to stand again, no matter how many times it's been knocked down. And every so often, when the evening light hits the steel core beneath the paint, the part I never fully removed, it glints like a quiet promise that even through the wreckage, there's always room for rebuilding. Message: revenge might make you feel strong for a moment, but understanding, that's what rebuilds you. Sometimes the people who hurt us aren't villains. They're just broken souls crashing into the only thing still standing. And when we finally choose compassion over anger, that's when both hearts, theirs and ours, can start to heal.